Good day. It's a wonderful day. And I thank the Lord for strength. I thank the Lord for wisdom. I thank the Lord for our lives. For we are alive today because of the glory of God. Welcome to the Case Consulting and Training Platform. I'm Jude Emmanuel Kebomatita. It is a beautiful day. And I have something in mind. And today's topic is very, very interesting. It's about family. Family. Now, this topic comes because I've talked to a lot of people. In my numerous council sessions, many things have come out. And I think it's good for me to address it globally. So we all get to understand and know these things. Some of us are passing through them. Some have lived them. Others, we soon get into it. It's a platform, as I said, to edify ourselves. For us to learn from one another. Family. The whole idea about family started from when God created the earth. The Bible says in Genesis that after He created everything, everything was good. He said, let me create a man. He created a man, but then that man was lonely. And He said, despite the fact that he has everything, he's not happy. He's lonely. Something is missing. Now, he used his wrist bone, as the Bible recounts in Genesis, and created a woman from the rib bone of a man. He said, as the Bible said, the man needed a companion. The man needed a helpmate. Helpmate in quotes. Companion. Friendship. He needed somebody that he can talk to. Which therefore means communication is the most important thing in marriage. Communication. The man was lonely. He needed somebody to talk to. So if you cannot talk to your man, if people cannot have a good communication, there is bound to be problems. Because one of the reasons that a union was created is because of communication. And the man needed somebody to share with because he had everything. So life is also about sharing. It's about giving and taking back something. Now, it started there. And when God made them, He blessed them. As the Bible said, go and be fruitful and conquer the world. Be fruitful. It means every single individual on this earth was blessed, is already blessed. That is why you find people with many religions, those who are not Christians, those who are Muslim or so. You see some people are rich, but they don't go to church, they don't worship God, they don't do anything, but they are blessed. Why? Because all of us have that blessing from day one. God has blessed us already. And He's a God that when He gives, He doesn't take back. So, in the beginning, He gave Adam, the first man, a wife. But things changed. We are talking about family, so we need to go to Genesis. In the Garden of Eden, after He has made some rules, that they should follow. He gave them everything, but he said, only this one, please. There was only one rule to follow. Don't eat from this tree. Only one. Now we have 10 commandments, host of other things that we cannot do. But that time it was one. Yeah, the serpent deceived Eve, the woman. And he ate the fruit and gave it to the husband Adam. Adam ate. The Bible says, as soon as they ate it, their eyes were open. And it was easy for them at that time to differentiate bad from good. Now, I went back there because something happened. God, when he came and he asked Adam, why did you do this? Remember, he asked Adam, he did not ask Eve. Because there is something that we'll talk soon. Hierarchy. He asked Adam. Because Adam is the first and he was the head. So he had to ask Adam, why do you do this? God did not question Eve. Adam is the first person that he asked. Eve ate the fruit, but he came and asked Adam, why did you eat it? God knew that Eve is the one that brought it to Adam. But he asked Adam, because Adam needs to take responsibility. But yes, Adam did not accept the responsibility. And he told God that the woman you gave me gave the food. He shifted his responsibility to God, that God is the one that made it because he gave him the wife. And that wife made him to eat that fruit. From that moment, God changed. And he said, still in the book of Genesis, that a man would leave his father and his mother's house and get himself a wife. I want us to understand that statement. And they will become one flesh. Leave his father's and mother's house and get himself a wife. He said he will leave his father's and mother. He did not say he will live with his father, his mother, his brothers and sisters to look for a wife. He did not say that. He said he will live individual, him, not his brothers, fathers and sisters. No, we are getting there. I want us to get a base. So family starts when a man decides to look for a wife and get himself a wife. Not when the family took or the family they joined, let's go and bring a wife and give it to you. No, you have to take that responsibility. Because it's responsibility. You refused when God gave you an opportunity. You accused him. Now, he has given you that opportunity. So when you make your choice and you fail, you are responsible for your choice. That is the reason. Now, let's move further. That said, now we are coming to the core of this message, which is family and marriage. Family and marriage. Now, there is a base that we've created. And that base is that a man has the responsibility to look for himself a wife, not the family. Even God himself did not involve himself in that. No. The only thing you can do, a man, is to ask God, please guide me. Help and guide me. But God will not choose for you. That choice is yours. That choice is yours. Your mother will not choose. Your father will not choose. Your brothers and sisters will not choose. Now the problem is this. Most often we are controlled by our parents. Now, family composition, let's talk about that. We have the immediate family and the extended family. The immediate family is you, your children. The extended family includes cousins, brothers, uncles. Before your mother and your family and your father choose you as their family, they also had brothers and sisters and parents too. But ask yourself this, when they give birth to you, they are talking to you, they will say your family, you have to think about your brother, think about your sister, that is your family. Let me ask you something. Where is their own brother and sisters? If they consider them as family, why are they not with you people? Why must they tell you, their child, that you have to look at your sister, your brother? Why didn't they tell you to take note of your uncle or your aunts, their own brothers and sisters? Now their brothers and sisters are no longer in existence. They only know them, that's their uncle is staying in that way. But you, when you are going out there, they have to tell you, you have to do this, you have to come back home, your brother needs to go to school, this one is it is their responsibility, it's not your responsibility. Because it is their family. When you go out and you get married and give birth to your own children, that one becomes your own family and you are directly responsible for that family. If anything happens to them, you are involved. They become first. Their family, when you are married, it takes precedence over your extended family. Now, I don't refute the fact that we are Africans who have extended families. No, I don't. I don't. We have to understand that I don't. But your primary responsibility is your immediate family. Your secondary responsibility is your family. Now we'll get to the details of that. And you ask yourself, why is it that some parents will tell you that this is your family, your brothers and sisters? Because most often, when you are well-to-do, you are in a position of authority, you are in a position of wealth, God has blessed you. The others are not really blessed. Might be some of them are lazy or whatsoever, it doesn't matter. Or they are not opportune like you. They want you to help them. Yes, it is good to help. But I want you to understand that it is not your primary responsibility. But our parents today want to shift their responsibility to us. And we have accepted that responsibility, especially as Africans. We have accepted that responsibility. And that is what kills us. That is what chokes us. That is what will make some of us do not even get married. Or marry today, the marriage has to end. Because of responsibilities. That is why they are influencing your marriage. Why do they have to influence your marriage? Because they feel when you get married and you have children, you have shared responsibilities. The amount of money that you give them, you will not give them that amount of money anymore. So they are selfish. But most of us are blinded with the family love. That we don't see that it is selfish, there is self-centeredness that makes our parents and some of our brothers and sisters to tell us that we are not supposed to marry this woman, we are not supposed to marry this man. Every single thing is because of self-centeredness. Most often is that. Most parents, some of them, they want you to live their life. The life that they do not live. What they fail to accomplish, they want you to accomplish that. Some might be dreaming to become a medical doctor. At the end of the day, they do not. Because they have a son today, they start to tell you that you must be a medical doctor. You must be an engineer. It is their dream. They want you to live their dream. How is that possible? Parents, please. Give children a break. They cannot live your dream, your failed dream. If for one reason or the other you could not achieve what you wanted to do, allow the children to follow their path. Everybody has his or her own path. We were created equal by God, but with different abilities. And those abilities are different. They are not the same. Now, I want us to go further and talk about something which is important, our character. Our ethnicity, culture, and religion, they play a vital role to shape our reasoning, to shape, they influence the way we see things and the way we do things. The environment that we grew up, what we hear, What we see has effect on us, whether we like it or not. And this has something to do with your character, because it influences your character traits. It influences your character trait. I want us to understand this very well. It is very important for us to get that information. It influences our character trait a lot. Our character trait is personal, and every individual has different. There are some which are dominant and there are some which are passive. There are some traits you have which are dominant. There are some which are passive. But those dominant ones are the ones that we need to be careful with. For instance, a person that have a dominant character trait of truthfulness, that person will be able to say things accurately. But another person that has a character trait of deceptiveness, what do you expect that person to do? To tell lies each and every moment, any given time. Now, if you are that person that you want to get involved with somebody who is that way, what do you expect? Do you expect to move in line together? Remember in Genesis, when I said, the Bible said, when they become, a man will get himself a wife and they will become one flesh. One flesh. One flesh. Now we know that the spiritual controls the physical. Our body represents the physical. Our mind controls our actions. Our actions, they are the physical things we do. But what controls those actions is our mind, which is the spiritual. Now, when the Bible says the two have become one in one flesh, he's talking about the spiritual aspect of it. It means you reason the same in one direction, a man and a woman. You are reasoning aligned to move in a particular direction. For instance, you might want to bring a proposition in the house as a man or as a wife about the type of business. But before you say it, your husband or your wife will tell you, wow, that I was thinking about this same thing yesterday. It is because spiritually, your thoughts are moving in the same direction. That is why it's important for you to communicate before you get married to somebody. Because through that communication, your spirit will align. Through that communication, you will know if this is the right person for me. But most often we go with love, which I had a video about that the other day. Which I say love is not enough when it comes to marriage. Most of us had that teaching. So I want us to look at things differently at this particular point in time. Differently. Character is important. There's a reason why God created a family. Because in a family you have thieves, you have rogues, you have, in fact, every character you find in a family. Those who are sense-centered, those who are loving, those who are caring, you have it there. But you find a way to live with them. They anger you, they do things which you are angry. But what happens is, you still find a way to live with them. Now, God made this possible because He wants to prepare you for marriage. Because in marriage, you have to meet another person from a different direction, from a different background. You might meet a person who is like me, that talks so loud, that the voice is so loud. If you don't know me, you believe, oh, that man just likes to shout. That man is intimidating. But when you get hold of me and understand me, you know that, oh, that's his style. So if my character trait, if I have a particular character to talk loud and you don't know me, you look at me different. Every proposition I brought in front of you, what you see, you say this person wants to dictate. But it's my way of talking. But there'll be another person that is so passive and so just like to take things calm and just say one word and stay quiet. Don't want to talk too much. That is his style. You don't expect you to understand, to live with somebody without understanding that person. There's a saying that the man who understands you creates you. Creates you. Two hot people cannot be. That is why one must be hot, one must be cold. So when you are shouting, the other one looks at you and will say, oh, remind you that, hey, your voice has gone up. And it's a way to create that balance. It's a way for the person to understand, no, the fact that he speaks like that doesn't mean he's not undermining me. He doesn't look low at me. The fact that that person is slow doesn't mean he has not heard what I said. We have to look at things in that direction. And when we look at things in that direction, then we'll be able to align our communication skills to one another. Our actions is also very important, because communication is also with action. How you gesticulate matters. Now, these things has come because I want us to get a small tip on these things. But our goal is family. Now, I've had a lot of sessions with couples who are not happy in their homes. Some don't want the marriage to continue no matter what we do. The reason being that they do not love the woman, but their family forced them to get married to the woman. I've counseled women who say, I don't love him. I was forced to love him. Because he sponsored me in school and I just decided that my parents said, no, you cannot disgrace us. Because he got me pregnant, I was forced to be in that relationship. Because he's wealthy, and he has shown that he can sponsor my sisters, he can help my family's on my neck, I must get married to him. That's why I got married to him. This family. Your sisters will plot against your wife, the woman you want to get married to, and expose you and come to you and tell you that she's a prostitute, she's been dating this, she's been dating that. Everybody has a past. The sister that is talking, that particular sister is not even straight. Ask yourself, has she even have her own husband? No. But yet she's stopping another woman from getting married. Why do you think she does that? Because she feels that she will lose something when you get married to that woman. Others are afraid because the woman might be a very strict woman. And they understand that most of the time they manipulate you for something. What they do is to block that woman from coming to your life because that manipulation will stop. But you, family love, you are seated in that particular direction. At the end of the day, you'll be the one to suffer. It's not the family. Your parents will say they will disown you. Mothers will go as far as telling you that I will curse you. You suckle this my breast, I will curse you. Let them curse you. And let's see how it goes. Please, it's not a joke. Tell them to curse you. Let them do what they want to do. The truth is, they will not. They will go back after all the ranting. When they go and sleep, reality will come. And they will understand that what they did was something wrong and they cannot continue to do that to you. That is a fact. I've got a situation where a woman controlled the lady until the day that the boy said, I must get married to this lady. After kept keeping that lady for more than 7 years, he finally said, no way, I must still get married to this girl. When he came, the family had to corner the girl and told the girl, the mother said, look, just go and sign. You don't need to tell anybody that I want to get married. That girl, marriage is a thing of joy. The girl did not inform the friends. Did not inform everybody because of afraid of the mother-in-law, and went there and signed that paper. Now, these are things that have occurred. These are things, they are real things that I'm talking about. At the end of the day, the guy just had to do it and take the woman out of the environment. Men, please. Women, please. We must be strong. That is something that we don't want to do. We feel that we will anger our parents by disobeying that part, but that part solely is your responsibility. And tell them that God said, go and get yourself a wife. And if a man has found you, that is your man, and he wants to get married to you, and you love that man, you are prepared to stay with that man, it is the man. Your father will not stay with the man, your mother will not stay, your brothers and sisters will not stay with him. Please. Please. That is where you have to make your choice. That shows who you are. Either you are a man or a boy, or you are a woman or a girl. Because men make decisions, women make decisions, but boys don't make decisions, girls don't make decisions. There comes a time in your life when you have to make a decision as a man. It's the first step for you to understand that you can be the head that God has asked you to be. The head that he has asked you to be. The head in Ephesians 5. God said, you man, you are the head. And woman, you respect the man. That head that God made you to be. It is the head that a head takes decision. And the first decision is a marital decision. And if that decision, you take that decision with the influence of people, let me tell you, you are not a man. Men, women, please listen. If a man wants to take a decision, I discover that man cannot take that first step, that first decision. Forget about that man. He's not man enough to get married to you. And stop wasting your time. Move on. Move on. A man that sits and listens to the mother or listens to the father all the time, when it comes to get the woman that wants to get married, be careful. Let me tell you something. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail. It is your decision. The truth that I always say something, that every decision is right based on the circumstance. Yes, it might prove wrong tomorrow, but the time you took that decision, everything about the circumstance around that time was good for you. You took the decision because it was right for you to take it at that time. It means it was a good decision. Yes, something along the line happened and that decision became bad, but the original time that you took that decision, it was a good decision. So no decision is bad. No decision was taken bad. No, that decision was taken based on the circumstance, based on the situation at that particular time. Remember, we are shaped by the experience that we have. The thing that you feel will come back, please don't be afraid to fail. If you are afraid to fail, then you will not succeed. Because failure is an ingredient for success. When you are afraid that your family will disown you, then that family will finally disown you. Your fears will come to realization. I'll tell you why. Because there comes a time when the woman that you wanted to get married to, they refuse. That woman will excel. You'll be miserable every time, every minute of your life. And when you see that woman, you will die. When you see that man, you will commit yourself, commit suicide. You will never have peace. You put yourself in internal bondage. The woman that they gave you might end up to torment you, and you will feel bad because that was not your choice. Every day you'll be lamenting because it was not my choice. I did it because of people, but they are not in your home. You'll be the one to stay with the woman. You'll be the one to stay with the man. Please, let's be serious with when it comes to marriage. It is your life. It is not somebody's life. It is you. A man that's not capable of taking that decision alone is not a man. A woman that's not capable of taking that decision alone is not a woman. Then you people are not prepared to raise a family. You are not suited to raise a family. Because if you want to raise a family, you must be a person that is strong enough to take decisions. If you are not strong enough to take decisions, then you are not prepared to raise a family. Then you are a boy or you are a girl. Forget what your family will say. When it comes to this particular choice, you see, when you make a mistake, and that mistake came from you, you will fight hard to succeed because you know it's your fault. And you do everything possible to correct your mistake. But when that mistake comes from somewhere else, you'll be devastated. You'll be preoccupied asking yourself, why did I listen to them? You will not look for solution. You will not look for solution. You'll be there asking yourself, why did I listen to them? But if that fault came from you, let me tell you, grow in different dimensions that you yourself will not understand. Because you are your own judge. You are your own motivator. You will look at where you failed and you say, I cannot fail the second time. No. But if it is not you, it's another person's responsibility. And what did Adam do? After he ate the fruit, he said it was the responsibility of God. Look at the smart thing that God did. God said, from now henceforth, you will make that choice. So it becomes your responsibility to not blame me. And because when we make the choice, when you make that choice, even if it falls, you yourself, you do everything possible to put it right. Because it was your choice. But if that choice belonged to another person, the person made you to make that choice, let me tell you something. You will not be motivated enough to stand for that marriage. You will not. You will not be committed in that marriage because commitment comes from decision that you have taken. Commitment doesn't come from decision that somebody took for you. You are committed because you put in something in that thing. You sacrificed for this thing. You wanted this thing, you sacrificed. That is why you are committed to it. So those who are committed to marriages are those who took decisions for themselves. But most people that do not take decisions for themselves are not committed in marriages. They are not committed. They are not dedicated because they did not take that decision. It's like a decision was forced upon them. So how do you expect them to be committed and to be dedicated to that relationship? That is why those relationships will fail. Because marriage is commitment and dedication. But they don't have it. My brothers and sisters, it is time for us to look deep. Forget about this pressure from family. Many of us, especially Africans, have gotten into this and pressure from customs, religion, culture, ethnicity. It has brought us to this particular dimension. An individual is not a tribe. An individual is that individual with his or her own personal character trend. Look at the thing that you fall in love with, that you love from that person, that you can cherish, and you build from there. Nobody is perfect. You yourself, you are not perfect. The video I said, I talked about past. Everybody has a past. You are not a perfect human being, and you will never be perfect. You will make mistakes. Even in the marriage, you make mistakes, many mistakes. But when you are committed and dedicated to that marriage, because it was your choice. When something is your choice, you are committed and dedicated. Those who know, and those who understand what I'm saying understands. Please, this issue of family is a very serious thing. When we are talking about this family thing, we forget about one dimension. The dimension of the girl or the man. You are talking about your family. Your family, what have you done to that woman? What have you done to that man? That man has dedicated his or the woman has dedicated his time or her time for you. And because of your family, after you dated him for sometimes 5, 6, 7 years, I've had a situation where somebody dated for 7 years. At the end of the day, when the woman came from holidays, wanted to come to the house, the man had another woman. And the man said, my family brought this woman to me. That lady was devastated. She invested in that relationship. But at the end of the day, she lost everything. But do you know what? The man is miserable. Because the woman that the family gave, the man cannot live with her. That woman now is happily married again. God gave her another chance. Because there is something about truthfulness. When you are truthful in every situation that you find yourself, there is always a way. God will always make something good for you. So those who have faced that difficulty, those who are in that situation, please don't be angry. Because you never know, God has taken you out of misery. The man finally left you. Yes, it's good to cry, it's good to lament, but rejoice. Because we don't see tomorrow, God sees tomorrow. God knows you are tomorrow. God is a good God. It is the God that sent his only begotten son to sacrifice and die for our sake. Why do you think he will put you in a marriage which is misery, which will be miserable? He wants us to succeed. He wants you, most important, to succeed because of his glory. Not for your own good, for his glory. Therefore, he wants you to have peace of mind, a good relationship for you to succeed. So if he stops you from being in particular relationship, please let it go. It is because he has better plans for you. Better plans will come. Don't be in a haste. Most of us have failed because we want to jump from 1 to 5 without passing to 2. Don't be in a haste. Take your time. Take your time. Give chance for God to work in your life. And God will work in your life. Men. In Ephesians 5, from 22 to 24, God laid down a principle. That principle is hierarchy. It's hierarchy. Because there's hierarchy in everything that we do. There's hierarchy in every situation. He said, man should love their wife just as Jesus did. We should emulate the example of Jesus Christ. How did Jesus Christ love the man? The wife. Jesus Christ, the love of Jesus Christ, he died for us. He gave everything to us, but we persecuted him for nothing. Then God is comparing the love of Jesus Christ that should be the same love that a man has to give to a woman. Can we really do that? I myself inclusive. It's difficult, but that's what God wants you to do. It means that woman will stress you up. That woman will bring you all allegations. She will do things that you will not even believe. But you have to forgive that woman. That is why to get married, you must get married with somebody who is your friend. Somebody that you know. Somebody that you can communicate with. Because if you don't, you cannot live. You cannot live with a woman like that. But when you understand the woman, and you understand the woman's love language, it will be easy for you to stay with that woman. Then he said, women, you have to respect your husbands. Now, the one thing in life that men want more than any other thing is respect. Respect. When a woman respects a man is in the other side of the world. A man is in the other side of the world. But men, please. There's a saying most time we say respect is earned, but it's different from that. There are some respect that can be earned, but there are others which are there. You need to respect a man by the virtue of the fact that the person is your elder. Be it a man, be it a woman. For our culture, because this man is older than you, you need to respect that man. That end is what? No, he did not do anything, but you have to respect him for that. Because he is your manager, you need to respect him, whether you like it or not. He has not done anything to end that to you. No. But you need to respect him. There are some things which is natural. Because he is your husband, you need to respect him. Because he is your wife, you need to respect her. So respect is inborn. Respect is something that you grow within. And you know that you can do this because I need to give this for the virtue of the fact that he's a human being. He needs to be respected. She needs to be respected. Hierarchy. This has brought a lot of things, especially in our society. We have traditional views of marriage and we have contemporary views of marriage. Traditional views of marriage is the normal, the man is the breadwinner, then the woman is the housewife, the traditional view. Most women in Africa, most of us are mothers. In those days, they lived with that. They lived with that. They were successful. The man was providing everything, as we say. Everything per se. They lived with that and they respected their husband for that. They maintained their rules. But the contemporary view is different. Now, it becomes a 50-50 thing. Now the woman doesn't stay as housewife, the woman also works. So the woman has seen the other part of working. The man also sometimes comes and do house chores. The man too has seen the other side of taking care of the home. This one gives them a clear understanding of the responsibility that each and every one has. Because this gender equality that we are talking about, it is about career and work. It is not about our household. You can be the president, a woman, but in the house, the man is your head. Says in Ephesians 5. But our responsibility, the role we play, makes us different. That is the equality we are talking about. Job side career. It's a responsibility, not at home. Please, I want us to get this and we should understand this. We should educate ourselves on this. The fact that you are a man, you are the head, doesn't also mean you don't need to listen to your wife. No, you need to listen to your wife. Because in 1 Peter verse 3, the Bible says, yes, woman, respect your husbands. Because when the husband, they see the character that you possess, they will be drawn towards God. They will be drawn towards God. So you are respecting a man, not because of that man. You are respecting a man because God asks you to respect the man. So you are doing it for God, not for the man. Men, you people have greater responsibility. Because you have to die for that woman. Even if the woman has committed the crime, you still have to die. That is the responsibility that has been given to you. Don't feel that your own is easy. It is not. In still that first Peter 3 verse 7, God made us to understand that we, a man must do what must honor. The other version says, man, honor your wife, honor her. Honor her. Reference her. This takes me to one example. You can have friends at home. There's a man that had friends came back, were home, and they want to eat. Now, that day, you know with food, it's not every day you can cook good. Most women know. That day, there was a shortage of salt in the food. But when the man tasted the food and discovered there was no salt, the man soon shouted, honey, honey, please, you've forgotten that I don't eat salt. This is not for me, we have guests, please bring extra salt. That is how all of them laughed, and the woman came and hugged the husband and was smiling and said, well, my darling, please, I forgot this thing. But it was a mistake. But that man covered the wife. Covered the wife. That woman honored the man. That woman respected the man because the man did not expose her. Most often we expose our wife and then we expect them to respect us. Please. They will not expect you, respect you when you are exposing them. There is something that I always say, that when 3 or more are present, the woman or the husband is always right. When 3 or more are present, the woman or the husband is always right, because 2, the husband and the woman makes 2. Any third party, look, you can be in a conversation, please. The direction that your husband or your wife go, just follow that direction. Though you know it's wrong, when you go back and say, darling, what you did like that was wrong. You know, I cannot support you in that thing. That thing that you did was wrong, but I had to support you and my husband. Why? There are people that only in your conversation with friends, they will tend to know that you have problems at home. And when they know that you have different mentalities, that is where they come in to break you people. But when they know you are inseparable, this direction that man take is the same direction that woman is going. Let me tell you something, they will not break you. Devil will not enter your home, but most often open herself for those devils just with a simple conversation. But you don't even know that simple conversation is not simple. Little things matters. It's simple to you, but it's not simple. It is something that I want us to know. I want us to take it very serious. Most of us have failed because of that. We allow the devil into our homes because of that. Please, wives, honor your men. Take care of them. When they are going out, look at their dressing, check them, adjust their tie, adjust their suit. Say, that is my husband moving. That man will be confident enough to face the world. When the woman is going out, say, darling, no, I don't like this dress. Put this one on. Go to the market, buy something for her, and arrange her. She will say, wow, my husband adores me. How do you think that woman will not adore you? Compliment. And one more thing. We are talking about family. Please. When we get married, we exchange families. The mother and the father of the man becomes the mother and the father of the woman, and vice versa. If you have an issue with your man, please go to the man's mother and talk to her or the father. Because it's their son, and they don't want their son to fail. They will caution their son rightly. But if you go to your own mother, your mother will not take it kind to your man. Even tomorrow you solve your problem, that thing is already in the head of the man, that this man always treats my daughter bad. It will stay. You are fine now with your man, but that is in the head of your family. It's in their minds. They will treat him different from that moment, and vice versa. Please, we should talk to opposite sides. Don't go to friends and talk. There's something that we do not do in Africa, especially. Our society doesn't encourage counselors or therapists. They don't. You see, we are needed. People like us are needed in our society. Why? Because there are biases. I'll be biased because this is my son. I'll be biased because this is my daughter. I'll be biased because this is my friend. And most often when we want to give the story, we tell the stories what we want them to hear. Some will go to pastors and talk. You talk to a pastor, that pastor will see you. The next day you come to church. By the time the pastor or the priest starts to preach something related to you, you just feel that discouraged and say, wow, is it not what I told him? Now he has used me as an example. Please, those things don't go. And the truth is, there are things that you people will not say. The main problem you people will not say. I've had it a lot in my sessions. Now, a counselor will not look at the things you say in face value. No, we'll go deep. I will go deep. I will go down from when you were even born. Dig out information that you think are not relevant. But those informations are relevant, and those information will help me to deduce that problem. And I bet you that problem the solution to that problem will be permanent. Let's not sit and go for cosmetic solutions. Because we just come and say our thing and we have to look at face value from what you said. No. There are things deep-rooted in our past that will influence our character today. That is why people like us, experts like us, those who understand, we go back there and look at those things. So it's time for our society to understand the value that we have. It's important. You can't solve your problem. Your family cannot solve your marital problems. Your sisters, your brothers cannot solve your marital problem. They will compound them. You go one problem, you come back with 20. That is the truth. But I want you to understand that these things doesn't move the way that you feel. It's time for us to change the narratives. It's time for us to give jobs to the people that demand it or that needs it. Look for solution where you can get solution. Don't go to places where you cannot get solutions. You know, we all have mood swings. Women especially. If a woman is not satisfied, might be sexually, the following day you see her at work, she'll be moody. The way she responds to the man, she'll be nagging and things like that. Because the man doesn't even understand her love language. When she needs something, the man don't even understand because they don't communicate. Now, it is surprising, but I want you to know something. About 98% of problems in marriages are sex related. At least for the numerous counseling sessions that I've had, something is sex related. And that has added, compounded to so many other problems. Then sometimes we feel it is a problem, but it's not a problem. And that core problem, they cannot see it. How do you expect a man to or a woman to go and tell their parents that I had this sex issue with my man? Or go to and meet their friends and talk about a sex, something that I have with my man, and it cannot go? People don't. So they will just come and tell you history, things that you don't even hear. You have that and you have finance. These two things, they are the hidden killers when it comes to marriages. Hidden killers because people are not prepared to talk. Our culture don't make us to talk the truth. When you come and say, if I talk now about money, they will say that I love money. No, you stay quiet. That is why people go for therapy 20 years, 15 years. I've had a session, a couple, that my supervisor gave me at one time. They had 12 years separated and they have been going for counseling session for 12 years. That problem was never diagnosed until when I came and I discovered the problem. It was sex and financial. They had both. But every other thing that they discussed, they never discussed that. Family had tried to intervene, no. Until I got one-to-one with them and I brought them, when I went back to their history. How was their relationship before marriage? When I went to their personal history, I brought out something and I discovered the truth. Please, most of you have problems, but you are not prepared to share that problem. The truth of that problem, you are not prepared to give it out. You cannot solve a problem without truth. The Bible says the truth will set you free. Some have problems which are life problems, family problems with their mother. The things that they were told before they got married. That thing is deep into their memory. And that is what has been guiding them. And that is what has made them to fail. You need to revisit your thinking. You need to revisit every advice that you were given by your family or friends before you got married to that woman or that man. It is time for us to open up. Open up to the right quarters. I'm not saying that go to the street and talk. No, you have to open up to a professional. Your secret will be kept. Well, we are giving free counseling sessions now. From now till December 31st. You have the opportunity. It's for free. It is my own job. The thing that I want to do for humanity. This is my calling. I have experience in that. I've been schooled for it. I've got a lot of wisdom when it comes to this. Those who know me, and they understand. I have it for free. But after December 31st, it will not be for free. For now, it is free. Please join our platform. You can subscribe and click the notification button to receive most of the videos, because I'll release a lot. I'll find a way to talk about sex. I'll find a way to talk about it. It's something I need to talk about. There's a lot in that direction that we need to know. I'll find a way to talk about it. And find languages to put there. Quarter languages that we can understand. Vulgar, they might be vulgar, but in a way, in our local parlance that people will understand better. So that it's better to talk that way to avoid offensive statements in YouTube and things like that. But let's stay tuned and share the video. It will help a lot of people. May God bless. I know it's quite long, but family issue is something serious. We needed to deal with it the way we've done. I do not come to confuse you. I come to bring out my views for us to educate ourselves and edify ourselves. May the good God that gave me the wisdom and that gave you the listening ear, may He continue to help you. May He continue to guide you and guide your path. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. If you are not a Christian, pray in your own format. Pray in your own direction. At the end of the day, we all serve a living God. It's not about religion. It's about serving our Master. That is all. But remember, be truthful. For the Bible says, truth will set you free. And if you want good results, you must make sure you say the truth. You can only get good counsel from truth. Because the information you give is that information that I will use to counsel you. If you give the wrong information, every counsel that I will give will be wrong. So help me to help you to give you the right counsel by providing the right information. Thank you all very much. And may God bless us all. Have a good day.